Yo! Video games.
Oh boy, let's go check out this. What is that? Is that grabbing Zelda's arm? Yeah, it's grabbing Link's arm. Link's gonna be corrupted by Ganon. There's your gameplay hook, is Link's corrupted, and he gets new powers, but they're like corrupted powers. Anyone getting an Immortals Phoenix Rising vibe from this? Just me? Okay. Ega Clan looking shield. This looks nice. I'm not really a huge fan of the Skylanders idea. This looks very much the same as the last fucking game. Like, this looks like fucking something they could have slapped on DLC. Ganon's arm. Same moves, but now we're chain attacking them, like additions to previously used movesets. Flamethrower, what could be a dungeon, what might be a dungeon, what hopefully is a dungeon. Weird reverse power. This is what I think is part of the corrupted powers, where it's like, oh, Link, sucks up all the water in an area and uses it to like float. Either that or it's a time reversal mechanic. I'm sure someone's translating that fucking music, songs or voices as we speak. Looks like pretty much the same Hyrule Castle just getting lifted up, which worries me mostly because I'm like, okay, how much of the map is being reused? And if the map is being if they are reusing chunks of the same Hyrule World map, how the fuck did this take 5 years? 5+ years. COVID can only explain one of those years. It can't explain the other 4. Well, I know the game engine's not fucked, but it is definitely one of those things that's like, this seems to be taking a fucking awful long time for stuff that is reusing a lot of assets or like touched up assets. Because if we go back to like, see, that looks good. I can't tell if it's like actually like an old area just put up in the sky or not, but. But yeah, this Skylander shit has got me a little concerned. I don't know. Actually, I wonder. Yeah, it's probably using. This is probably using voxels. Like, this is probably using an advanced form of the voxel stuff they used for Xenoblade 2. It's the same engine, just an updated version of it. Yeah, see, this shit is like, okay, this is just some fucking reused asset crap, like, and also, again, I note the fucking, the texture work here looks pretty fucking low res, like almost lower res than the original game, because again, I think this will be a showcase title for the Switch Pro, which is going to use DLSS to super sample it up, which is why they're gonna maybe like on like the base, it's gonna low tech, and then it'll look way better once it gets put through the DLSS. Yeah, again, it's the same fucking shield and shit. I mean, like, hell, it's like the same fucking, like, or similar Link model, same Moblin, Seen bokoblins, like, they got horns on their head, I guess, whatever. They're horny bokoblins now. I mean, that's new, but again, this whole area looks kind of low res. Like, everything about it looks kind of low res. I mean, it's a YouTube video, so we are fighting YouTube compression. That is always something to keep in mind, but I mean, you can watch videos of Cemu, like, you know, beefing this game on not even that powerful of rigs, and it looks significantly crisper and cleaner. I'm assuming this is this game's version of towers. That area right down there actually looks the same. I recognize that area right down there with all the weird fucking like trees, and I'm guessing this is just areas pulled up. So again, this is neat. This is cool. Don't get me wrong. And again, I like. Definitely looks like they're using the voxel cloud engine tech from Xenoblade 2. More advanced, obviously, because it's been fucking 5 years almost. But again, I sit here and I wonder, with as much stuff that seems to be pulled or reused, how the fuck did this take so long to come out? Yeah, I think it's about yeah. Like this is definitely one of those, like, why is this taking so fucking long? And I know about COVID, like, but that again, that explains the last year. That doesn't explain the other 3. Like, why did this? How and why did this take so long to get going? Maybe there's no region. So, yeah, I mean, I think the big hope is that, like, there's a lot more to it. Like, you know, maybe the map is much bigger. Maybe it's like, maybe it is the old map and it's broken up, but there's also like a whole extra area the size of Hyrule, but like added to it, so it's like twice the size. It looks cool, but it still, to me at this point, looks like, I don't know that I see that I don't look at this and go, man, that sure looks like they spent 5 fucking years on this, because they're working on Xenoblade. I'm fine with that. Yeah, it's because Zelda's actually had problems with the last 2. Like, Skyward Sword got rebooted internally like 3 times, and Skyward Sword got booted internally at least twice before it got to the game that we got today. So this is inspired by Castle in the Sky for sure. Every fucking video game is, and every fucking JRPG is inspired by Castle in the Sky. Like, that's just a given. Because the crazy thing is, like, the engine's done. The engine's been done. Like, the game, a lot of the game physics and stuff have been done. A lot of these assets have been done. You know, obviously there's some new assets, changed assets, touched up assets, but there's a lot of repeat too. There's a lot of, like, using what you already have here. So again, a big part of me is just kind of like, how the fuck did this take so long to come out? But that doesn't say the game quality is bad. That is not saying the game is this game is bad. Blah, blah, blah. It's just saying, like, I'm not sure why. I'm sure this will be a fucking ton of fun to play. I am 100% sure about that. I just don't know why it seems to take Nintendo so long to do this. This seems oddly stretched for a title that feels closer to a Torna, which was all brand new, almost all brand new stuff practically, versus, you know, versus this. Like, it's weird. But you know what I really think is the real answer? I think the real, true, honest-to-God answer for all this, and some people already trying to jump ahead, it's being pushed. It's being pushed for the next console. They knew probably a couple of years ago, they knew what they were doing with this game, and then they went like, we have this new console coming out. It's going to be using DLSS. It's going to have this much more guts in the memory, whatever. We need a showpiece game. Breath of the Wild was such a phenomenal success to launch the Switch on, and we really need to replicate that with the next, you know, bump system, upgrade system. So they were like, okay, well, we're gonna hold this back for the new system, which means they weren't gonna show it. They didn't want to do it. They didn't want to fall in the pit that Capcom is with Monster Hunter Stories 2, where it's like, show the game at every fucking possible possible fucking announcement direct, and basically just make it to the fact that it's like, I actively will avoid Monster Hunter Stories 2 because Capcom is just fucking daunting me with footage of that game at every possible angle and outcome. And I'm like, I don't fucking care anymore. I'm done. We just didn't. So yeah, to me, I'm like, I don't. Part of me is like, I don't wonder if the game really even did take that long, or maybe the more likely answer is this is the game that they need to be the headline for their upgrade model, which yes is still coming. Yes, it exists. But they're absolutely doing what Apple does, and they are going to wait until the last possible second to talk about it because they do not want to cannibalize the sales of their normal Switch hardware model right now. It makes perfect sense, honestly, when you think about it. Why would you take a system that is selling better than every other game system all over the world month after month for 30 months in a row and go, yeah, let's cannibalize our own sales. Let's compete against ourselves. Let's give people a reason not to buy it and to wait. Of course they're not going to. So yeah, like the big hardcore gamery stuff is still being saved, and games like Advance Wars Remake and even Metroid Dread, which is coming from Mercury Steam, they're not games that I feel necessarily like push the fucking that demand extra horsepower. They're waiting. Like Bayonetta 3 will demand more horsepower. Metroid Prime 4 will demand more horsepower. In the next Monolith Soft game will probably really want and demand more horsepower. Which is why this year they talked about a lot of games that aren't super physically demanding. I think Metroid Dread will absolutely make use of the Switch Pro. I think it's going to have an up-res mode model, whatever. But yeah, to me, I'm like, I think this game might have been pushed back or just given a bunch of extra time, just like see what you can do on new hardware. Yeah, so it all just kind of, to me, everything's like, as much as Nintendo plays by their own rules, everything's sort of falling in line, and yeah, a lot of this stuff is making sense. This game definitely looks good. It definitely looks better than the last one as far as lighting goes. Lighting and effects, at least for this shit, looks great. Yeah, it looks good. It definitely is a prettier looking game. But man, what the PC gaming community has been able to do on CMU is nothing short of fucking like jaw-dropping. So, you know what else I don't see here is I don't see any hints of playing a Zelda. Zelda falls into a fucking hole at the beginning of the game, and I'm like, it's Link. It's only Link. Only Link. Only Link. Yeah, like Link's gonna get corrupted or have like crazy powers. He's gonna have a wild new look. Zelda's gonna fall into a pit and he's gonna have to save her. Zelda's gonna see like, oh yeah, absolutely. This is Japan. What the fuck were you thinking? The cycle continues. Yep. I mean, I think Nintendo's. I think everything we know about the Switch Pro is that they were intending to bring the Pro out this fiscal year, so I do still think the Pro will get announced, and it will come out this fall. I still think that is a huge, heavy possibility. This won't be a launch title, though. The only reason the Switch Pro might not come out this fall is because they want to hold it back to be a launch title for this game. Zelda's never seen again. That'd be the only reason I could see them holding the Pro back, because every manufacturing, fiscal, everything has ever said was that like, seems like they intend to fucking launch that system this year. Like the numbers they're talking about, like the orders, the shipment orders, like the manufacturing orders that are coming down. It's like, well, it seems like something that's being prepped for like a few months out from now. But whatever, we'll see it when we see it. I think also like, you know, it's funny too because like other than like I guess Horizon and Halo, it's looking at the competition. It's not like Microsoft and Sony are putting up a huge fight this year either. You know, it's also kind of like Halo will be out and it'll do whatever it does. You know, Halo and Forza, and Horizon doesn't have a release date. They're just hoping for this year. Um, so yeah, it's interesting, but you know, whatever. I'm still mildly excited for this game, but it does feel a little bit like this is neat, but I'm not sure what took you so long. Skies of the Wild. It might be Skies of the Wild. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, who knows? The chip shortage could be a factor, and maybe why the Switch Pro is going to be. Maybe they'll hold it back till they can manufacture more. Um, we don't. Breath of the no, I think Air of the Wild or Sky of the Wild or like something like that. Whatever. It'll have some catchy Sky name. Anyways, let's finish this bingo card out.